I just got the new 12-inch sliding mitre saw from the Lumberjack Tools Pro series, and it does this. What's up woodworkers, Ben here, and I've got my hands on the brand new Lumberjack Pro Series 12-inch mitre saw, and today I'm going to talk you through some of the features of the saw, what I like and what I don't like. Oh, and I've also got a discount code at the end for you. The first thing I didn't fully appreciate when looking at this tool online is the size of it. I knew it had a larger 305mm or 12-inch blade, so I knew it would be bigger than my old 210mm or 8-inch one, but holy smokes, this thing is big. Measuring from top to bottom, it comes in at 720mm, and when fully pushed back into its most used position, you get over 1.1 meters. You get a whopping 370mm of cutting capacity, but you'll need a good 260mm behind the tool for the sliding mechanism, which brings me on to one of the things I'm not so keen on. For me in my workshop, I don't really want empty space behind the tool, as it's just a waste. I've seen a lot of the newer saws from various different brands have all come up with their own way of having the sliding mechanism come forward rather than backwards. I can't help but think they've missed a trick here, but saying all that, there is still plenty of mitre saws that slide backwards, and if you're using this on a stand somewhere, then it's not really an issue like it is for me having it permanently in my workshop. The power cord measures in at just over 2 meters as well, so it gives you plenty of cable to plug it into the nearest socket. One of the standout features on it that I absolutely love is the shadow line system. This shadow line system is super effective and essentially just shines a bright light on the blade, which puts a shadow onto your workpiece, so you know exactly where the blade is going to hit. It even shows up the detail on the teeth, so you can get super accurate with it. Speaking of accuracy, mine wasn't perfectly aligned straight out of the box, but it was pretty easy to dial in. All you need to do is loosen off these screws and the measurement dial, and then get it all lined up with a 90-degree square. Adjust the measurement dial until it matches, and then tighten the screws back down. Doesn't get much easier than that. The fence is solid and has plenty of support higher up, with the option to slide these supports out of the way when making bevel cuts. Just make sure you remember to move them before making the cut. It also has holes in the fence, so you can add sacrificial boards and make zero clearance fences when you need them as well. It comes with a clamp to hold your workpiece down, and it does the job, but my God is it a faff, especially if you're cutting boards of different thicknesses. You have to screw it down until it's tight, and then unscrew it again every time you've made your cut. These clamps are designed as a safety feature, and I like to use them wherever possible so that my hands are out the way, but when it takes a long time to do it, it makes life difficult and slow, and as a result you can end up getting lazy and just using your hands to hold the boards. I think some form of quick clamp would be much better to encourage safe use. Now it came with these little metal sliding wing thingies that are supposed to support the wood when it's going through the saw. They are what they are. I think I'll probably take them off when I put them into a mitre saw station though, to be fair. Now let me talk to you very briefly about this little feature right here. It's just a simple rubber wheel on the end of the blade guard. But I can't tell you how many times I wish I had one of these on my old mitre saws, as it often gets stuck when it hit the edge of a piece of wood. Sometimes it's the little things that are the most satisfying. Now let's discuss one of the most hotly contested features on mitre saws at the moment, dust collection. This one did come with a dust bag, but frankly I think those things are completely pointless, so it went straight in the bin. Upon first inspection I had high hopes. It's got one of those rubber flaps at the back of the blade that's designed to move effortlessly across the wood and help suck up all the sawdust that's being kicked back from the spinning blade. Excellent. And it's got a port at the end for me to hook my shop vac up to. My shop vac is from Lumberjack Tools, so that should fit perfectly too. Even more excellent. Or so I thought. Firstly, my biggest bugbear is from most tool brands, to be fair, not just Lumberjack, but why on earth does nobody make a standard set of dust port sizes that everybody needs to use? They're only a bit of plastic, for crying out loud. None of my adapters from the Lumberjack shop vac fit properly, so once again I've had to rely on the old gaffer tape trick to get anything to fit properly. Does my head in. Secondly, Look what happens when I get my vac hooked up and switched on. The bloody rubber flappy bit just gets sucked into the hole and essentially blocks it up. Now, I'm pretty sure I can fix this problem using either glue, gaffer tape, a knife, or something like that, and I'll be giving it a go at the end of the video. So stay tuned to see if I can actually remedy it or not. Not that the saw has particularly good dust extraction anyway, and I've not come across any Mitre saws that do, unless you're talking Festool money. And that's way out of most people's budgets. This saw has a bunch of positive stop points that means you can easily click into the most popular angles without having to think much or do any measuring. Let's do a 45 and see how it works. Nice, a perfect 45-degree cut. So it goes 50 degrees to the left and 60 degrees to the right. To adjust the angle, you just unscrew this knob and press this lever to move it. All right, let's have a look at the bevel feature. This saw has a double bevel, meaning it tilts to the left and to the right, whereas some saws only go one way. The scale is nice and easy to read, and there's a little marker that's easy to line up with the measurement, and has positive stops for the key angles. The way you adjust the bevel is a tad annoying though, as you need to loosen this handle at the very back of the saw first, which isn't much of an issue if you've got it set in the middle of a room, but even then you still have to lean over the saw or walk round to get to it properly. And when you consider the size of the tool, it's just a bit awkward. Once you've loosened this knob, you can then flick this lever and you can adjust it. Push it all the way back and you can adjust it exactly as you want, or you can then loosen it off and let the positive stops click into place. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the soft start on this thing? It's so soft. It's like trying to hug a cloud made of cotton candy. Until very recently, I'd never had a tool with a soft start, and I always thought people were being a bit wet when they said that they wish the tool had soft start on it, to be honest. But now I've experienced it, I really like it. It doesn't jolt the machine, which means that your workpiece is less likely to move, and it's less intimidating for newer woodworkers, which is really important, as power tools and workshop machines can be pretty daunting for people just getting into the hobby. The other thing I've noticed compared to my old saw is that the blade stops spinning considerably quicker, which means if you're cutting safely and waiting for the blade to come to a complete stop before moving the workpiece, then the time that you're waiting is a lot shorter, meaning you're not stood there waiting ages for the blade to stop spinning, and that's a great safety feature, especially when paired up with the double safety trigger system, which is great as it means you won't accidentally fire it up just by grabbing the handle. It works by flicking this little switch first and then pulling the trigger. The depth stop feature on this saw is pretty good. I like the knurled grip on this bolt so that you can adjust the depth to your required setting, and then you just flip this plastic lever down and your depth stop is in place. Flip it back up and you're back to full depth. Now let's have a chat about changing the blade on this thing. This isn't my first Mitre saw, and as such it was pretty easy for me to figure out how to change the blade. It might not be the right way, but it gets it done. However, if you're going to use the method shown in the instruction manual, then you might be here for some time. The first instruction it gives is to loosen off 3 screws, but not undo them. The next instruction is to move the guard down. This simply won't happen if you've not fully removed the screws, so I have no idea what it's trying to get me to do. Here's how I did it. Unscrew the 3 screws, move the blade guard assembly out of the way, press the locking button and undo the nut. Replace the blade, tighten everything back up and screw the blade guard back into place. Now the blade it comes with seems to be pretty decent, and usually I'd immediately change the blade on any tool I get, but this one can stay here for a while yet. Right, let's have a look to see if I can figure out the best option for this flappy bit. First up, I'm going to try simply taping it up to see if closing the slit in the middle makes a difference. Nope. By the way, if you do decide to buy this tool or any other tool on the Lumberjack Tools website, then use discount code LIONANDBEAR for money off. I think I'm going to try taping the flaps backwards this time. Well, that kind of worked, but I'm not convinced the tape's going to last very long, but thinking about it, maybe I could just snip. Okay, so that didn't work either. I have found an aftermarket part that I think will fit onto this saw, so I've ordered it and I'm going to fit it to the saw and give some feedback later on. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I suggest you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on that. Now, is this saw worth £400? Well, when you compare it to other competitors on the market that are roughly double the amount, or at least £100 more, then yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I think if you're looking to upgrade to a larger mitre saw and you're a hobbyist or a DIYer or maybe a tradesperson as well, but I can't really speak for them because that's not my world, then I think this saw is really worth getting. And don't forget, I've got the discount in the description if you're interested in buying one for yourself. And if you are interested in more of the Lumberjack tools, then you should watch this video right here. And if you're interested in looking at how I build something with these tools, then check this one out right here.